A2theK.
Welcome to the A2theK Wrestling Show, where we are back with another episode of 10. This time we are talking 10 people who should be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes, we are, Carl.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
There's been some absolutely criminal omissions from this Hall of Fame.
I'm just going to say one thing, right? Some of these people here may or may not end up in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
And we have a weird habit with our TikToks and with our Reels and YouTubes and where people go to the comments before they look at when the fucking video was posted, right? So do me a favor, right? If you're watching this at some point 2 years down the fucking line and you feel like telling me that Mickie is in the Hall of Fame, look at when it was fucking posted.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Anyway, carry on.
I love it when you get your soapbox. It's my favourite thing.
It just annoys me. Have you seen our TikTok? You put about you put one up about the Royal Rumble, and people are putting there what was this? And you're like, well, yeah, this was weeks ago. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah, there was that. There's also I did the same with the JD McDonough hate, where it was before Survivor Series War Games.
Yeah, and everyone's like, I actually thought he was really good. And yeah.
I was like,
but we posted this before he was really good, so
exactly. But yeah, let's start.
Say we now as well. You did all the work. I'm like, we posted this.
That's like on the show.
Yay.
You just cough and shout at people.
I don't shout at people.
You were looking right down that lens.
Well, yeah, at that time I was talking to the people who want to put comments on when they didn't look at when. Anyway, look, that's
anyway. Coming in at number 10. Oh, it's me. I'm talking about this one.
Yay.
Is, the absolute legend, William Regal. This guy has been around for decades, all the way from Blackpool, made his way over. Obviously on the carnivals and all that good stuff.
Made his way all the way over on the. I was like, where's he going with this? It was a plane, right?
Yeah. So started out on the the Indies over in England, made his way over to WCW, Lord Steven Regal and all that good stuff. Came over to WWE. Didn't always get used amazingly, but Commissioner Regal, man, with again when Jericho pissed in his tea and some of his facial expressions and reactions.
Even though Regal and Tajiri was fucking awesome.
Yeah, Regal and Tajiri was amazing.
And do you know what? Even him and Sean O'Hare.
Yeah.
He mentored Sean O'Hare for him, didn't he? Am I going mad? No, that was Piper. Fucking hell, I'm losing the plot here.
That could have been a cool mentorship. But yeah,
and it feels natural. I don't know why that didn't happen. Sorry, anyway.
So yeah, all the stuff he did as a commissioner, and then obviously King Regal. He's been a fantastic European champion, fantastic Intercontinental champion. Probably should have had a run with the world title at one point, but I think obviously he had some stuff happening in his life at that time, and it just didn't end up coming to fruition. Went to AEW, who's amazing there. He's been in NXT. He's the fantastic general manager. No one says War Games
No one quite like Regal.
But yeah, just an absolutely stellar career, absolutely stellar guy, and I think
hell of a fucking villain.
He is.
He's a boss villain.
He is. He's just brilliant at everything he does. So, absolutely deserving, and I'm very hopeful that we get to see it very soon.
Agreed. Speaking of things I'd like to see very soon, Mickie James in the Hall of Fame as well, Carl. Come on, right? Who has a more storied career as a women's wrestler? Who's done more for the women's wrestling industry? Outside and inside of WWE, no one more deserving than Mickie James. In fact, I'm not going to throw shade, so I'm not going to name names, but there are women in the Hall of Fame now who should not have got in before Mickie.
That's true.
In all honesty, right? Yeah. No disrespect, but you look at what Mickie's done.
Mm-hmm.
Empower, what she's doing with OVW now, all the TNA stuff.
Yeah.
WWE's first run in WWE, a return to WWE.
Yeah. First knockouts champion. Come into
first women's champion in entering the Royal Rumble. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And I don't know. For me, she's who's got more of a sort of a record or a reputation in the wrestling business and in the women's wrestling business than Mickie James.
It is a crazy omission for me. The stints that she's had with WWE have just been phenomenal, and even the stuff that for fucking trash bag gate, she deserves it alone for that.
Exactly. Although it seems slowly but surely everyone involved in trash bag gates got their comeuppance. So interesting.
So yeah, absolutely. I can't think of anyone else in women's wrestling maybe more deserving. To to be fair.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who are.
There's plenty who are, but
I just think, yeah, she is. It's crazy that she's not in.
insane.
So hopefully this will be the year.
Make it happen.
Maybe her husband, the SmackDown general manager, be the one to induct her, but I hope it would be Trish.
Yeah, it's got to be Trish. No offense, Nick, but it's got to be Trish, right?
Yeah.
Got to be.
Yeah, that's how she came in, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? They've got that rivalry, they've got that history, amazing stuff they did together. So, yeah, I want to see that.
She's obsessed with Trish. It just makes sense.
Maybe we should have done that. Who would induct Regal?
Oh, let's go back. I think I kind of want to go back to Tajiri, you know.
That would be cool, to be fair.
A fun shout.
Yeah. I kind of feel like it'd be Triple H or something. I think they were quite close.
Triple H would be a good one because they have worked closely together. I'm trying to think of wrestlers who he's been sort of synonymous with. I know he had a long run in WCW as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
But like, in terms of iconic, I don't know, keep going back to the Jerry for me, like people that are iconically associated with him WWE run wise. You know?
Yeah. Strange one.
You're a strange one.
Shut your face. In at number 8, speaking of people who've done amazing things for women's wrestling, Mr. Finlay.
Certainly, yeah.
He is...
I think, friend of the show, Dylan. Postal.
Yeah.
I keep feeling like I'm going to say that wrong. That's why I'm
is it Postal or is it Postal? I don't know.
I think he... See, this is the thing, right? Because when
this podcast is called Going Postal.
So this is the thing. When we spoke to him, we referred to the podcast. But then I'm fairly certain he referred to himself as Postal. And it's like, well, that the pun is Postal, isn't it? So,
yeah.
Anyway, Dylan Swoggle.
Yeah.
He's referenced that. He referenced this when we spoke to him on our amazing interview shows. That, you know, he's probably done more outside of the ring for the business than he ever did in the ring, and that he still had a hell of a career in the ring. Okay. But he's totally right, though, isn't he? Like this man has done more behind the scenes and unsung elements.
Yeah,
that's I think a lot of people don't realize. But you know who does realize? WWE, and that's why they should recognize the man.
Yeah, he's another example. It's very similar to Regal in that sense. Like, obviously, he's worked all on the indies, went to WCW, came to WWE. It's crazy in a way that he got over as much as he did in WWE, because he's not the typical kind of poster child for someone that gets over in WWE, but he was that good.
Yeah.
And he had that much about himself. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and he loves to fight.
Yeah, exactly. So he got over massively. And obviously, the stuff he did was with Hornswoggle was fantastic.
Yeah.
And the stuff that he's done, I think the ultimate praise from Hornswoggle was like, he doesn't think that there would even be a women's division without Finlay. Like, how can you give higher praise?
I mean, am I right in saying, I don't want to misquote, like, well, it'd be paraphrasing more than quoting, but hasn't Sasha Banks and the like also come out and said about how much he's done for the women's division?
Yeah,
a lot of them have been very vocal about how important he was to their training and to their sort of development.
Yeah, like he was the main agent and trainer and stuff for the women for the longest time. Do you know what I mean? And all the top stars that are there now have probably worked under Finlay. So absolute legend, absolutely deserving.
Inducting him wise, got to be Hornswoggle, right?
I think so.
I know he was a bit sort of humble about it.
Yeah.
But I think it should be him.
Yeah. It kind of has to be, doesn't it, to be fair? I can't think who else would be more.
Well, again, I mean, unless you'd have to, like, I think, we're probably leaning towards on-screen. I suppose, really, you could argue anyone from that era of, like, that peak era of the women's division, the call-ups from NXT, any of those women may want to be, and justifiably be, or they may even do it as a group. I'm sure there's nothing to stop them doing that.
No.
Could have, like, the 4 horsewomen induct them.
Yeah. Yeah, that could work.
But again, because I think we look through the lens of the fan, you go, well, you look for on-screen elements, but, you know, he's got a load of relationships behind the scenes, so we don't really get an insight into, so there's that side of it. Like.
No, definitely. Yeah, absolutely deserving.
Speaking of deserving, I know, segues, great, aren't they? Batista, and I mean, to be honest, I was going to say this may be a controversial one. I'm not sure necessarily everyone would agree with this, because I think he's probably more well known in a Hollywood sense now, strangely, because people always go straight to The Rock for the Hollywood Association. This guy's doing fucking Marvel films and all sorts. So I'm not sure people really think about him in WWE all that much, but you know what? Evolution alone, you go, legend in the business. You know what I mean? And, you know, for everything about his career, for everything about who he is outside of the ring and everything, yeah, he should definitely be an inductee.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I mean, wasn't he announced at one point to be inducted?
I feel like was it around the pandemic time?
It was
that they
around
were
the
gonna do
pandemic,
it,
and then it just didn't happen. And then everyone was like, "Oh, he'll definitely be inducted." Last year when it was WrestleMania Goes Hollywood,
it just didn't happen.
it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
So strange one that.
Yeah,
I'm guessing it's just a scheduling thing. Like they can't.
yeah, maybe because he's a tough man to get hold of now.
Well, exactly. He's
But,
big time actor now.
But again, like that's more reason it kind of needs to happen at some point, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you can get The Rock on TV and you can't get Batista because he's too busy, that says a lot.
Well, exactly. So, who inducts him? Do you think it would be
A Ric Flair?
Ric Flair? Think?
Fucking legend from Evolution. Why not?
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
Look,
I was thinking like either Orton or Cena.
See, I wouldn't. See, I always associate Orton with Evolution. Like, obviously, Batista was like the animal who eventually broke free as well from Evolution. But like, I always think I don't really class Orton as like a massive connection to Batista. Like, I'd understand either Triple H or Rick for me as like almost the ringleaders of that faction. But Orton, like, he was like the first to like go his own way, wasn't he? And although they probably sicked the animal on him, as it were, it's I don't know, like Triple H or Ric Flair for me would be the inductees.
Fair play. But yeah, definitely it should be inducted, I think. On to number 6, right, Jim Johnston.
WWE has not been the same without this man.
No, it really hasn't. Like, it was never more evident than this Rumble that's just gone, where more than 50% of the participants, you had no idea who was coming down.
Well, most of the time we were like, we'll find out when they get to the ring because I have no idea what song that is.
Because they're just like, the themes are just so generic, they're not identifiable in any way.
80% of them start with, oh.
Exactly, what is that about? But yeah, the guy is just an absolute legend. Obviously, he's done the majority of the iconic themes, let's be honest. Obviously, like the likes of Undertaker and stuff like that. He's just an incredible composer. And, it's the music of our childhood, really.
I think it's the thing. Just, he deserves to go to Hall of Fame just purely for Undertaker's theme.
Yeah.
You've done it now. It's a fucking banger. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, I know people like Undertaker's, the fucking creepy fucking dead man. But no. I want the fucking biker taker.
Yeah, he did that one.
Anyway,
but, yeah, I mean, the original, like the piano version of that I've heard him play, like stuff of like the Undertaker's.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid doing the song.
Yeah. What do you mean? Isn't descriptive enough. But yeah, he's phenomenal. And
yes, and absolutely, he's fantastic. Like, everything he did was, whether you love the song or not, like, it's not as like, to be honest, there's certain themes you can't really go and sit down and listen to this. It's fucking boss, right?
Yeah.
Because the theme music's. But I dare say every single theme he put out there was iconic in the sense of like, you were going, oh, that's such a person. And that's exactly what you need when somebody's coming to the ring and the music hits. You need to know who it is. And he was spot on with that. He was absolutely spot on with making sure that you knew straight away, like, that's Undertaker or whatever.
Yeah. I think he just encapsulated the performers. You know what I mean? Like, I remember he was on Beyond the Mat when they were doing a bit of a look backstage, and like, obviously a friend of the show, Barry Blaustein, who made that documentary. Check it out if you've not seen it already. But as part of showing like all the costume designs and that kind of thing, he went into the theme songs. I think he was talking about Vader's theme at the time, and like how he kind of came up with that and stuff. So you can just tell, like, he looked at each character or each person as an individual and was like, what can I write that sums them up? Whereas now it's like generic rock song number 4, and it's like, you're just like, yeah.
Yeah, so Def Rebel. Thanks, Def Rebel.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. Like, I would absolutely love to speak to Jim. I hope we at some point one day get the chance, because we do. We're almost becoming slightly known for our behind the themes. Yeah, exactly. It's there. It's ready. Yeah. Because like, yeah, I'd love to sort of get into the mind of like the work he does on that. It'd be fantastic, and hopefully that'll pan out one day.
Fingers crossed. But yeah, Jim Johnston, legend.
Jim Johnston. Triple H. I don't think. You nearly did his spit take.
Just the way you paused. Triple H.
I was pausing for gravitas.
Dramatic effect.
Triple H. And to be honest, like, do I even need to justify this one? Like,
what's he done? Why does he deserve it?
This man Like he's fucking wormed his way into the company, right? Fucking illegally married the boss's daughter, slowly took over, forced some sort of sex scandal on him, had him fucking released, and now he runs the show. Sorry, what were we talking about? None of that was true, and shouldn't make light of a very serious situation.
Playing chess,
but we've all been playing checkers. This man's fucking leagues ahead. But no, joking aside, and apologies because I know it's a very sensitive topic. I shouldn't joke about the Vince McMahon allegations. But Triple H, right? Even just looking at recent years, he's so deserving of the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's crazy for us because we remember Triple H, who he tore his quads or whatever, and then he came back at the
2002 Royal Rumble.
2002 Royal Rumble, and then we were like losing our fucking minds, and he was badass, and then we got DX and all that shit going on, and then suddenly, like, I mean, some of the iconic promos when we were growing up, like during the Attitude Era, like the DX stuff,
all the skits, and
what they can and can't say on TV and stuff like that, and you go, this man is going to end up running WWE creatively on a day-to-day basis.
I don't know why it's insane. Scott Hall. At some point during this.
Love it. It's because we're talking about Triple H. He just suddenly morphed. Like,
what's happening to me?
Do I have to be Kevin Nash on me?
Yeah, probably.
I can't grow a ponytail. Anyway, yeah. So his resume speaks for itself. Aside from the fact that he was an absolute legend in the ring, multi-time champion and deserving in his own right of that. He's also, like, from a creative standpoint, I mean, he's responsible for the best of WWE, and all the worst of WWE gets attributed to some other guy. And
well, that won't be able to happen anymore, will
it? But yeah, I mean, obviously NXT alone was his baby, and NXT when it was fucking fantastic and wasn't being ran by Sean, was all Triple H. You know,
I mean, you can say the same about DX. Got really, really good when Triple H took it.
I mean, that's a fair point, actually. Sean, just leave us trips, man. Yeah, so I think I've already said more than I had to.
Yeah.
This man should be in the Hall of Fame.
Do you think he'll ever do it, though? Obviously, DX went into the Hall of Fame last year or the year before, while he was obviously in a high position of power. So it's not like he's opposed to putting himself in the Hall of Fame because he's kind of done that.
I feel like, I don't know how the selection process works. I feel like he definitely should be, but like, is it like a group decision? Because I feel like it'd take people going, you should be, this is you, this is your year, kind of thing.
I mean, we've got no idea what the Hall of Fame looks like under TKO, do we?
No, this is the thing.
Imagine if they stopped it. Hopefully not. But
they might actually open a Hall of Fame.
I mean, that'd be cool. Like a physical.
We've long said there should be one that you can visit.
I still think that's on their radar somewhere, because this whole most wanted treasures thing and all that. Like,
they're gathering all the stuff up.
I think they are going to display something.
Going around different like warehouses and stuff, finding all the shit.
Yeah, basically. Fair. But yeah, Triple H, legend.
Could have the big fist, couldn't he, as well?
Good. Speaking of legends, again, former guest of the show, she is the best person ever. I just love Miss Sandra. She has had an incredible career. Her story is incredible. She's been responsible all the way from back at Johnny B. Bad, old school days, into getting hired for WCW, coming over to the WWE. She's literally designed and like created all the most iconic costumes, and
you know what? You know what speaks volumes is how well liked she is.
Yeah,
with the wrestlers. And I know I talk a lot of shit about Cody as a character, but just using Cody as an example, as a person, Cody's like Sandra. It's Sandra for him.
Yeah,
every time.
It has to be. She's the best. And
this woman's retired, and he's still like, it's Sandra. And she's like, yeah, I'm here for you, man. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think that's fucking wonderful, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, like, as you said, like that whole kind of, like she was on Total Divas, became like a little bit of a, mini celebrity off the back of that. People kind of got introduced to her, and she obviously, because she's like a bit sassy and she's fun, you know, so people kind of just loved her like everyone does when they meet her. And yeah, like,
I just think to come on our show as well, so obviously.
Exactly. But no, like, everyone can't speak highly enough of her. And the body of work that she's got, like, they need to recognize more. I mean, it's easy for us to say because we do the behind the segment for that particular reason, but I can't think of an unsung hero.
Well, am I right in saying it's only recently that they've been doing this sort of thing? Like, they only very recently put a ref in. Correct me if I'm wrong, or they're looking to put a ref
I don't know.
Am I just making shit up?
I don't even know if they
I feel
did.
like they made a decision though that it wasn't just going to be exclusive to like. They always do a celebrity and wrestlers, don't they? But
Yeah.
were they gonna start including more?
I mean, I don't know. I hope they do. Like they've introduced the Warrior Award and stuff, haven't they, for other people? But I do. There needs to be a wing in that Hall of Fame for these unsung heroes, the people that make the magic happen. And I don't think there's anyone more deserving from that side of things than Miss Sandra.
Because at the end of the day, it's about contribution to the business, isn't it?
Yeah, and can you think of anyone who's
contributed more?
Yeah. So
damn right,
Miss Sandra,
right,
absolutely.
And this one, I mean, this feels like a lock, doesn't it? I don't know when it's going to happen, but this will happen. John Cena, like, winding up his career now, it's crazy to think that there are probably younger fans out there who don't remember a lot of Cena. That's how old we're all getting. But, you know, this man, you know, absolute decades in the business. And to be honest, to be able to do that with, I'm not even, this might sound like I'm being like fucking a bit shitty when I say it, but I don't mean it this way. But to be able to have such a long career and essentially the same gimmick throughout.
Well, yeah,
you know,
to be fair.
Because he was heel for a brief period and he spent most of his career as the John Cena we see now with the C Nation and being a face and the people being behind him. And I know people got a little bit sour to it, but I mean, he's always had the kids. Do you know what I mean? And he's always had that huge fan base and he's always been just a massive, massive deal in WWE. And you know what? He's been so fucking gracious in life about it as well. Him as a person just seems like an awesome guy. Like, I think has he got the record in WWE or as a whole for the most Make-A-Wishes as well?
Oh yeah,
like
in the world, like
in the world. Yeah. And this man, like, he does nothing but try and give back with what he's been given, and I think that's admirable to fuck. But aside from all of that, like, there's probably never been anyone bigger than Cena in WWE.
No.
Like, bar maybe Hogan.
Well, that's it. Like, people always talk about Hogan, Austin, Rock. Cena's in that mix. Like, he has to be.
I dare say, right, again, possibly controversially, Austin and Rock hadn't. If you look at their sum total
from a longevity,
they haven't had as long a career as Cena.
And do you know what though as well?
Probably have spent longer. Everyone remembers Austin. Austin, like, I mean, obviously everyone knows The Rock, but probably more from Hollywood these days.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Cena. I think he trumps them. I think the only one rivaling Cena for being synonymous with WWE and being that big would probably be Hogan.
Yeah.
And it's debatable whether he beats Hogan, to be honest with you. It depends how old you are.
Well, yeah. To be fair, like, I think that point you made was fascinating to me, the fact that he's pretty much had the same gimmick his whole run. He had, like, a chain gang rapper thing to start with, didn't he? But then it was just he's been John Cena for the last 20 years or whatever it's been. Has it been 20 years? Surely not. Are we that old? It must have been. Like Ruthless Aggression era, it was like 2002, 2003, 2004.
Yeah, I think it might be 20 years.
So yeah, about 20 years, which is insane. But yeah, like even Undertaker was Dead Man, then to American Badass, then to like the hybrid.
So yeah, think
Kane
about it.
Went from like that to corporate Kane and that kind of thing.
I'm citing Hogan as probably the only one who roused him for fame. Yeah. Even Hogan
went to NWO. Hogan.
Went to NWO.
Austin
Hogan
kind of was Austin for a while. He was the ringmaster for a bit, wasn't he? But then he kind of maybe. But the Rock was
I'll try and like
this
is a little bit debatable, but Austin went for his, I'm a changed man, guitar playing, cowboy hat wearing, lovable.
To be fair,
like, and they only did that for him to turn back to the old Austin, and that was all storyline based. But even so,
yeah. But no, I think you're right. The longevity of his character and everything, yeah.
And maybe it's because for so long we just couldn't see him.
Maybe. And I hope we do see him in the Hall of Fame.
Hey,
into second. Is it me? Am I talking this one? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I talked about Johnson, so I think it's only fair.
Right. I'm tired. Yeah, The Rock. He
is a wrestler.
A wrestler. No, I mean, how can he not be in the Hall of Fame? Do you know what I mean? Like.
Well, it's similar to the John Cena thing, isn't it? It's like who's more synonymous with WWE, and he has made he thinking back to our attitude there, he's probably made WWE a big deal.
Oh yeah, 100% he has. I think it's crazy to me the fact he hasn't gone in yet. Like I don't know whether his stance is he only wants to go in once he's finally retired or something.
He's never.
But like Austin's gone in. And people like that, do you know what I mean? Hogan and stuff's gone in, but like The Rock.
This is one thing I've never been able to understand with the Hall of Fame is how they decide. Because some people go in and you go, but why have they gone in so soon?
Yeah.
And there's still people who haven't gone in. I've never understood their process in terms of picking people. It baffles me.
Yeah.
Like, why do we have to wait so long for the British Bulldog person?
Yeah, it is crazy. I don't know what the criteria is for that, but yeah, obviously it's a no-brainer for the Rock. I don't need to say much else, really, other than it should be in. But before we go on to pick number 1, some honourable mentions, because let's be honest, there's a gazillion people who deserve to be in here. But
1 gazillion.
So obviously we've got like the likes of China. Obviously she's gone in as part of DX, but she does deserve to. Like she broke down all the barriers and everything.
WWE probably would have put her in sooner. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there was like a bit of controversy around.
Well, exactly.
And I think they need to kind of let that go. But
well, there's enough other controversy associated with them at this point, though. That's probably the least of it, isn't it? Bam Bam Bigelow is someone else who hasn't gone in. Obviously, he's main evented WrestleMania and was a big deal. Do you know what I mean? So he deserves it. Even like Psycho Sid, he's been a world champion and stuff. He's not gone in. Then there's people, obviously Owen Hart. Not many people deserve it more than Owen, but Martha won't let him go in.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge.
And I assume the hope is that one day that she'll go,
Well, yeah, hopefully. But you can understand why as well.
Oh, totally.
So
without
it's
a doubt,
it's one of them. And then you've obviously got people who are contracted to AEW who deserve to go in, like Big Show or Paul White, Christian, Chris Jericho, the Hardy Boys, people like that. So
they probably won't be allowed to go in until
exactly
decide, if they do decide to leave AEW, because let's face it, WWE is still going to stay on that level, aren't they?
Well, yeah, I mean, no. He did let Jericho go on Austin's podcast while he was with AEW, so you never.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, so I just wanted to list off a couple of honourable mentions there.
List them, boy.
We're not saying these are the only 10. There's obviously a lot more, but this is just the 10 that.
This is our 10.
Which takes us to
number 1. Paul fucking Heyman.
My name.
Who deserves it? Like, I keep saying this with every fucking thing. Like, what's the point of me doing this? Who deserves it more? Right, Paul Heyman. There probably was a time you go, what? Paul Heyman? Like, well, let's be honest. He's probably been a WWE guy longer than he was ever anything else now at this point. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, WWE also owns WCW and ECW, and they recognise people from them promotions for the body of work that they've done anyway. And he's been
in all fairness. But even if you were to play the game of going, let's look at his time in WWE. Like, that's been storied in itself, hasn't it? Yeah. Like, it doesn't. You don't have to look at like what he did with ECW or any of that. You look at like, this man has been an advocate for so many people. Like, it's become a thing to be a Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah, that in itself.
That says a lot. This man has such a mind for the business, both as a backstage and from a talent spot and booking point of view, but also on-screen character. No one can match him on the mic. No. I don't care what anyone says on that one.
He's done it. He's done it all, hasn't he? From the invasion thing to being a commentator to being a manager to.
I loved him on commentary.
I mean, like
I missed that.
Yeah, he's literally done all of it, and then as you said, that's without being a writer for SmackDown and stuff for Raw, being on creative. But
it's baffling decisions. Like, do you remember that brief period when they decided, like, oh, we're gonna hire. They hired Heyman to be overseeing SmackDown, I think it was, and I can't remember who they hired for Raw. And then very quickly they were like, actually, no, we're not doing that. Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was weird.
But then he stayed on screen, didn't he? And I just really don't. I was puzzled by all that, because it's like, that man would have been gold. I mean, they changed it up, and obviously he's been an advocate for Roman for a while now, and he helped elevate Roman, if we're being completely honest. Him being the advocate and the wise man, just been absolutely fucking gold. And honestly, he reminded me about commentary. I kind of miss him on commentary,
He was fantastic.
Like, we're stuck with Pat McCaff now.
Yeah.
Like, who's apparently going to be in commentary for a while. Have you seen that announcement?
Yeah, because it was Cole and McAfee on on Raw. On SmackDown, it's going to be Wade Barrett and Corey Graves. Yeah, which is interesting because they're both colour commentators. So,
apparently now Graves going to be the lead commentator now.
Yeah.
So Wade's going to be the colour commentator.
Yeah. I hope they don't take away his because he's good at being a colour commentator, isn't he, Graves? But anyway,
it's interesting. Yeah, they just put them both there. They're probably going to see what happens, see if there's any magic. Yeah. But speaking of magic, this guy right here.
Yeah. And I would love to. That's without his Paulie Dangerously stuff in WCW, and like even back then, like he had his little gang with Medusa and people like that, didn't he? And Stunning Steve and fucking Pillman and people like that.
And another friend of the show, Medusa. who's talked very highly of Paul.
Oh god, a million. Yeah, she was. Couldn't say enough nice things about him, could she?
Indeed.
So,
see, we're so connected in the biz.
that's it. It's
We're
just
practically
who we are.
besties with Paul Heyman if you think about it.
Like dream if it comes to dream guests, I'd love to talk to Paul Heyman.
Honestly, I feel like we'd try, and then he'd probably like rinse us for like 10 minutes, and we'd still come out of it.
That's why I would love it. Because he's just the man.
No one would understand that. I'd try and show my wife this interview, and she'd be like,
Yeah.
he just absolutely roasted you for 5 minutes. I'd be like, yeah, but that's the magic.
Yeah. That's why it's awesome. But yeah, definitely Paul Heyman deserves to be.
Yeah, look at his little smile.
It's like he just found out. So happy. So yeah, did we miss anyone else? Is there anyone else that you think deserves to be in the Hall of Fame? Let us know in the comments. Do the usual thing: liking, subscribing, downloading,
sharing,
caring.
Bye.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.